I Hear Voices Theatre Company presents Bentley Strangetrousers and the Dance of Doom. Episode 4, A Village Fate Worse Than Death. Previously on the Adventures of Bentley Strangetrousers, you really have to wonder what goes through our writers' minds.
You'll never get away with this, red herring.
You're an overconfident fool, Mr. So-called Lestrange Trousbenters. But you won't be the first moronic servant of Her Majesty the King whom I have bested this week. That scrounging idiot Colonel Shirts also thought he could get the better of me. But when he started snooping around my manor house, he witnessed something far more terrifying and awe-inspiring than he could have possibly envisaged.
How so?
I never locked the bathroom door.
You exhibitionist devil! So you're responsible for what happened to Horatio Shirts. But how did you do it, man? How have you been turning these trustworthy, respectable, middle-class shysters into capering stick-clackers of the grubby fingernailed orders?
I have employed my immense scientific genius to isolate a neurotoxin derived from the seeds of the mustard plant. When ingested, the chemical entirely incapacitates those areas of the frontal lobe responsible for correct pronunciation of the Queen's English and for the regular purchase of shaving equipment.
You mean all the time I was posing as a mustard agent, listening to people talk about your mustard festival before getting chained up over a vat of boiling mustard? This all had something to do with mustard?
He's quick, isn't he, darling?
But not for much longer, my dear. Because in the few seconds remaining before he is boiled alive in this vat of rusticating strength condiment, the only thoughts which will be running through what passes for his mind will be of cider and ploughman's lunches.
So, a fate worse than death, which is also death.
Such wonderful economy, wouldn't you agree?
Never, do you hear me? I shall end my life a gentleman or die trying.
Brave words, but I fear only partially accurate. Morris dancers!
Yes, Lord Red Heron.
Begin his descent.
Yes, Lord Red Heron.
Now, it is time for you, Agent 006 shillings and threepence halfpenny, to expire bucolically at the hands of your one worthy opponent, beholding at last the countenance of the equal but opposing force, which has across 4 continents and countless years done battle with your endless stratagems. Look in horror upon the unmasked visage of your nemesis, and rue the day you crossed your path with that of Raoul Heliotrope. Who? What?
I don't believe I've had the pleasure of meeting this Raoul Heliotrope. Any chance you could arrange a formal introduction?
I am Raoul Heliotrope.
No, you're Lord Red Herring.
You idiot! Red Herring was merely a pseudonym.
Good God! Does his wife know? And more importantly, what is the church's position on that, Reverend Weird Body?
You fool! I am Medea Black!
That's as maybe, but what have you done with the Reverend Weird Body?
Imbecile! Reverend Weird Body was merely a red herring.
Of the Norfolk Red Herrings?
Oh, please, let's not start all that again. Look, I am your nemesis, Raoul Heliotrope, and the whip-wielding Amazon currently testing the elastic limit of recreational leatherwear. Is my most trusted, not to mention most delightfully sadistic associate, Medea Black.
No, I'm certain I'm not getting your drift, although it's becoming rather difficult to hear you. Do you think you could speak up a bit? This boiling mustard plays havoc with the ears.
Oh, for God's sake. Morris dancers!
Yes, recently renamed Raoul Heliotrope.
Put him back up.
Yes, recently renamed Raoul Heliotrope.
Oh, thanks. The weasel was almost on the squash court with the groundsman still experimenting with his wife's lingerie. And I think you know what I mean.
No.
Very well, and that's as maybe. But you're not my nemesis. You see, I don't have a nemesis.
Oh, you so do! I've been at war with Agent 006 Shillings and Threepence Halfpenny the past 20 years. We have tested our mettle in the glittering casinos of Monte Carlo, traded gunfire in the twilight shipyards of Vladivostok.
I think you have me confused with someone else. I was only promoted last year when my predecessor retired. Prior to that, I was Agent 006 Shillings.
Then who the hell are you?
My name, madam, is Strangetrousers. Bentley Strangetrousers. It's my name, it's also my misfortune. But it's my bear and I'll have to cross it, but only when I come to it. And I think you know what I mean.
Well, you might not have been my nemesis all these years, but you damn well are now. You are my Nemesis the Second.
Nemesis the Second? Didn't he build the pyramids?
Right, that's it. Modest answers.
Yes, increasingly irate now, here, true.
Drop him back in the mustard.
Meanwhile, back in London, in the peripatetic headquarters of MI5 and 7/8, Professor Littlewoman is about to receive a package.
Agent Otloons, whatever have you got there?
Morning, little woman. Post's arrived and there's a parcel addressed to you science boffins.
What is it?
No idea, but it looks rather mysterious.
A Norfolk carrier pig. I wonder if it's from Agent Strangetrousers.
Oh, 6 foot long, black rubber, with a slight aroma of bleach and decomposition. Well, it certainly is usual stationery. I'll just pop it up on the workbench, shall I? Crikey, it's moving.
Actually, I feel quite unaffected by the experience.
Oh.
Good grief, he's alive. In the loosest possible sense of the term.
It's Colonel Shirts.
Are you sure?
Positive. Just look at the pawnbroker's marks on his trousers.
The poor dear, he looks in a terrible state.
Don't worry, old thing. I know what we need. Here, wave this under his nose.
A 10-shilling note?
Colonel Horatio Shirts reporting for money.
Shirtsy, good to have you back with us. Dear me, looks like you've rather been fatally bludgeoned a bit.
What it is? A flesh wound. They don't call me Bulletproof Shirts for nothing, you know.
Really?
No, I charge royalties.
Even so, we better get you seen to.
No time for that, girl. Get Greater Mass at once. I have important information. So make sure the fat old goat has his wallet ready.
Meanwhile, back in Royal Heliotrope's evil subterranean mustard base.
Wait! Before you kill me, there's just one thing I don't understand about all this.
Only one?
You already have your diabolical corduroy-creating condiment appearing on dining tables up and down the country.
It's not the mustard festival which is important. It is who will be attending the festival that interests us. This year's guest of honor is Constanza Nees.
Not Lady Constanza Nees of the Berkshire Nees. Darling of the Bloomsbury set, 3 times Grand National winner and personal mustard and horseradish taster by appointment to HRH Queen George V Part 2.
The same.
What unspeakable horror!
So, now you understand the plan.
Actually, I was just remembering what she looked like. So if you'd care to elucidate.
We shall take advantage of the King's absolute trust in her gastronomic discernment to place our very own yellow peril top of the menu at Buckingham Palace.
You devils!
Once the king himself is reduced to nothing more than a smock-wearing, forelock-tugging bluff yeoman, the British class system you so adore will crumble like year-old bath salts in a Dutchman's underpants.
Then I will have respect. Then I will have power. Then I will have that window table at the Ritz.
And then, my darling, you will be king!
Yes, well, I suppose that too.
You fiend incarnate! But, Raoul, aren't you afraid of being contaminated by your own rusticating condiment?
I have, of course, devised an inoculation against its effects, which renders myself and my loyal followers entirely immune to any unwanted bucolic transmogrification. Isn't that right, gentlemen?
Aye, that'd be.
Entirely unaffected, my lover.
Won't catch that muck making us all differently like.
Yas'm.
Good God! You mean these villains aren't your brainwashed drones? They're like this naturally?
Well, this is Norfolk, remember? Now, much as I'd like to gloat all day, I believe you have an appointment with a grisly and untimely death.
Wait! One final thing. Your mustard doesn't affect women. How are you going to get Constanza Knees to do your bidding?
An excellent point, Strangetrousers, but one I think we have overcome. Medea Black,
Yes, Raoul.
remove your total enclosure leather bodysuit.
Of course, Raoul.
Oh my God! The spitting image of Lady Knees!
Are you sure?
Well, I'm currently resisting the urge to spit.
Excellent!
But how is this possible?
For the sake of this mission, I volunteered for years of radical, experimental cosmetic surgery. My chin has been decreased, my overbite extended, my teeth replaced with those of a horse, my knees re-angled, my legs bowed outwards, my spine removed, my skin tattooed tweed, and my hair extracted, dragged through a hedge, and then re-implanted backwards, thus giving me the exact appearance of...
An upper-class person!
Precisely!
So, you intended to replace Lady Constanza, then take your devil mustard to the dinner table of Her Majesty the King. What perverted, despicable ingenuity! Are you available for children's parties?
Not likely.
A pity. However, there's one thing you haven't accounted for.
Which is...
My accountant! Halfpenny, out of my wallet!
Yes, Agent Strangetrousers.
Where did this inky-cuffed homunculus spring from?
I was disguised as a capital loss carried over from a previous tax year.
You devious little fiscal monkey.
What a moral ingenuity, Halfpenny, and all within the letter of the law. Now, quickly, throw something unfeasibly heavy at them.
Very well. Take this, you naughty people!
You swine! Get these disallowed expenses off me!
Quick, Halfpenny, whilst they're distracted, the chains! Now to find somewhere to hide. See how confused Nigel's looking?
Whoa.
All we have to do is climb up under his beard, and then we can ride our way to freedom.
Brilliant, Strangetrousers.
Quickly, give me a leg up.
Raoul, can you move?
I fear not. I'm pinned beneath his barbell.
Don't worry, my darling. I think it's lighter at this end. I think it's only his stationary requisition forms. So, if I'm very careful, I might be able to...
Oh, you magnificent Amazon. Now, help me up.
Raoul, those idiots have disappeared.
Now, don't concern yourself, Medea. We'll catch up with them later. Right now, we have a mustard procession to lead. At tea time today, our plans will come to fruition. Our dreams will become a reality. Our Madeira cake will win best in show. And nothing in the world will stop our quest for absolute domination. Oh, that makes me feel quite happy.
How are you doing, Halfpenny?
Oh, Bentley, I can't keep this up for much longer. My fingers are losing their grip, and what's more, I swear there's something other than us living in this beard.
Brave heart, Halfpenny. Just hang on for a moment longer. The second Nigel rounds this next corner, we'll be out of sight of the rest of the mustard procession, just long enough for us to slip away unnoticed. Right, are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be. Oh dear, I can't. It's too far down from this beard.
This is our only chance, soldier. Go, go, go!
No, Bentley, no, no. Ow.
Perhaps I should have held off pushing him until we'd passed that mine shaft. Still, never mind. Geronimo! Thanks for the lift, chum!
Hello, hello. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. This is your favourite head of the parish council, or should that be your only head of the parish council, Alderman Bob Bunting, welcoming you back from lunch to the Upper Trapping Chalet's annual village fete and unreconstructed pagan mustard rite. Hey, there now, steady now. I think someone's been in the beer and cider tent too long. Right. Just a few parish notices. The results are in for all the morning activities, and I can now reveal for the 4th year running, old young Tom Bollimer has won first prize in the ever-popular Guess the Length of the Frog competition, with a bang-on estimate of 5 3/8 of a frog. Well done, Tom. I don't know how he does it.
There'd be a talent, that's all I can tell you, Bob.
And as ever, the lucky winner goes away with a year's supply of frogs. Well played, Tom. Now, over to St. Grizilda's very own deputy headmistress, Miss Cassandra Ouijaboard, for news of the junior activities.
Thank you, Alderman Bunting. Now, Miss Primrose Mallowmarsh has come first in the under-12s Wicker Man building event. Yippee! Settle down now. She was closely followed by Master Peter Shipley and little Doris Henshaw. Young Primrose wins a plump Norfolk pig and the right to set fire to her Wicker Man at sunset tonight, which has, in anticipation of the event, been set up upon the ridge overlooking the village. As is traditional, she also wins the right to imprison the runners-up within it and watch them burn.
No, for the love of God, spare my Doris!
Now, calm yourself, Mrs. Henshaw. You knew the rules when you entered her for the competition.
Dear, oh dear. That's 3 kids that woman's lost this way, and still no closer to the pig. Now, moving on. At 3 o'clock, Mrs. McElroy will be judging the amusingly shaped vegetable fair, which is when we'll see if Ted Smucklesby can clinch victory for a 2nd year running with his giant pumpkin the shape of an arse.
After which we have the highlight of the day, the annual processing of the mustard. This year, the role of Jack in the Yellow will be performed by our very own benefactor, Lord Red Herring.
Meanwhile, in a special treat for us all, the judging of the mustard will be undertaken by none other than Her Majesty, the King's own royal mustard and horseradish taster, Lady Constanza Nees.
But before all of that, we have the traditional half-mile goat and spoon race. So now we shall hand you over to Verger Pinkley for his official weighing in of the goats. Meanwhile, at the back of the refreshment tent, the Honourable Lady Constanza Nees is adding a tiny stiffener to her cup of Earl Grey.
It's all lies, I tell you. I haven't touched a drop.
I think you misunderstand. Lady Constanza, don't turn around, but don't be alarmed either. I mean you no harm. I am but a nameless, faceless agent of clandestine governmental affairs. Steeped so far in the impenetrable shadows of espionage, I am little more than a shadow myself. An unnamed, unknowable, unsolvable enigma.
Bentley Strangetrousers, you old darling.
Damn! Lady Nees, your life may be in danger, or worse still, your reputation as an English-type lady.
Heavens to absolute Betsy.
I'll explain everything, but first we need to speak to whoever's in charge here.
Ah, my dear, you look an absolute picture in your all-raffia Lady Nees disguise.
A Leonardo, perhaps?
Well, I was thinking more along the lines of something by Edvard Munch, but nevertheless. Ah, the village green is in sight, and with it, my window table at the Ritz. Morris, men!
Yes, Raoul.
Halt! Take up your positions along the ridge.
Yes, Raoul.
And now, we wait.
A plan to kidnap Lady Nees? What kind of phantasmagoria be this, Mr. Strangetrousers?
Listen to me, Alderman Bunting. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you believe. I don't care if at weekends you go by the name Bernadette. But let me tell you this. Hell is coming to this little village fete of yours.
And how the bloody hell do you know?
I am an agent of Her Majesty the King's Secret Service.
A secret agent?
It's true, Mrs. Edgewater. I've seen his particulars.
Please, Lady Nees, this is no time for those D.H. Lawrence-style reminiscences.
So codswallop, I reckon.
Oh, you think so? Alderman Bunting, take this state-of-the-art Napoleonic brass telescope, point it up towards the ridge, and tell me what you see.
Morris dancers! Thousands of them! They're just standing there. Standing and staring at us. What are they waiting for?
It's clearly some primitive form of psychological warfare.
Either that or they're wondering if they've left the gas on.
We're doomed! Doomed! Doomed, I tell ye!
Control yourself, Alderman Bunting! Now, pull yourself together, man, or I slap this mackerel again.
He'll do it, Bunting. Believe me, I've seen him strike a fish before.
The anti-Piscian swine.
Now, we're outnumbered 20-1, or by 95% if you happen to have the misfortune of being French. If only we had some weapons.
Well, why didn't you say so? I'm not here on my own, you know. I came down from Belgravia with the children.
They have guns?
They're upper class. This is the country. Naturally, they have guns. Don't you, my dears?
That's all fine and good, but I wonders what those damn Morris men will do next.
Charge!
Well, that's that question answered. I've never seen so many sheep's bladders inflated in anger.
Cool head, Miss Ouija-board. It takes more than an unfeasibly broad selection of dirigible offal to put Bentley Strangetrousers out of the game. Lady Nees, take my handgun.
Oh, handgun? Really, man, I'm packing my own howitzer.
As you wish. Right. Gentlemen, ready your weapons. Miss Ouija-board, are your students prepared?
Class 3B, unsheath your sacrificial knives.
Yes, Miss Ouija-board.
Excellent. Men, turn over those trestle tables and take up positions behind them. Mr. Bunting, load those amusingly shaped vegetables into my improvised raffia trebuchet.
What? Even the ones that look like willies?
Especially the ones that look like willies. This is war, man.
Aye, sir.
Now, Miss Ouija Board, tighten your industrial strength deputy headmistress knicker elastic.
Yes, sir. Cheek of some folks.
And remember, don't shoot until you see the whites of their hankies!
There's Lady Knees! Morris dancers! Seize her!
Not likely. Gentlemen, fire! Bottom!
Right in the dirigibles. Class 3B, charge! Now, Mr. Bunting, release the amusingly shaped root vegetables.
With pleasure, sir.
Oh! Watch out, lads!
My eye!
Or bugger me, this carrot looks like a willy.
Nigel, destroy the source of that comedic garden produce.
What's wrong here, Trump?
Quickly, Bunting, load the pumpkin the shape of an arse.
Aye, sir.
Bunting, release the arse.
Yes, sir.
Got the brute! Right in the beard socket!
Run for it, lads! They're shooting pumpkins the shape of ass!
The cowards! Gentlemen, reload! And this time, use the rock cakes!
Gentlemen, target those mustard carts.
My mustard barrels! A plague on this overbaked rustic patisserie.
It's no use, Raoul. The game's up, the chips are down, and your plan to replace Lady Knees is partially exposed at a 45-degree angle to the perpendicular. Your plan to yokelize Her Majesty the King is foiled!
Not a likely, Ed. I still have a sealed container of extra-strength, antidote-resistant King's Only mustard. If this flask is opened within 100 yards of a palace garden party, any man even considering a cucumber sandwich will be immediately reduced to cider-swilling yokeldom.
Your forces are depleted. Your mustard wagon's blown to hell. How are you planning to get that flask of horrors to the palace?
You had to ask, didn't you? Come hither, my wondrous creation! How am I planning to get to the palace? Simple. I shall ride there upon the back of my giant mutant mustard mole. I bet you didn't see that one coming, did you?
Neither I suspected the script editor.
Enough talk. Borrow my proud beauty, and don't stop till Buckingham Palace is above!
Damn. I could have stopped him if only I hadn't stood and watched. Still, a 30-foot-long electric yellow mustard mole. You don't get to narrate things like that every day, do you?
Good God, Benders, we can't let that villain tunnel to Buckhouse riding that condimentary behemoth.
Why not?
Just think what it'll do to the lawns.
My God, you're right. We must contact Whitehall immediately. Get Professor Greatermass on the phone and Duxford Aerodrome. Tell them to get a Lancaster fueled and ready to fly. The boys of MI5 and 7/8 are going to war. Strangetrousers to Greatermass. Are you receiving me, Greatermass?
Loud and clear, Strangetrousers. How are you doing up there?
It's been a while since I've been up in one of these crates, but flying a Lancaster bomber is like having sex with a Brazilian transsexual prostitute. Once you strap in, you just grab the stick and hope nothing you're about to do contravenes international law. And I think you know what I mean.
Mercifully, no, Strangetrousers. Now, unconfirmed reports are coming in of sightings of Raoul Heliotrope. He is said to be approaching the palace along Horse Cart's Parade.
Are we certain it's him?
But he's tunnelled directly from a North Norfolk village on the back of a giant mole.
You don't mean...
Yes, he's still wearing brown shoes.
The idiot! Doesn't he realise a gentleman never wears brown in town? Right. I take it Her Majesty the King has been alerted?
Unfortunately, the King is incommunicado.
Was this really the time for an Italian break?
You fool, Strangetrousers. I mean, he's uncontactable. Now, we think he's out riding in the royal coach, so you better be careful. Now, your bomb bays are fully loaded, and the ordnance has been tipped with Little Woman's anti-euchalizing formula, swiftly synthesized from the notes stolen by the recently revived Colonel Horatio Schutz.
Schutz alive? I knew he'd come out in the wash. Right, I'm almost over the palace.
Well, good luck, and happy mole hunting. Greater Mass, out.
Good Lord! What's that down there? Let's get a bit closer. Just a little closer and... Yes, the size of a van, glinting yellow and approaching Buckhouse at a rate of knots. It must be the mole. Eat ordnance, you unnatural golden talpid! Got it! The mole is dead, and with it, Raoul Heliot... Hang on. What's that on the other side of the palace? I must get closer. It's the mole! How did it... Could he have a pair? Well, better safe than sorry. Bombs away! Yes, a hit. A very palpable hit. The mole is definitely no more. Time to head home for a hero's welcome. I wonder what the other thing was that I bombed. Well, it's probably not important anyway.
And that, dear listeners, is how H.R.H. George V was mistaken for a giant mutant mustard mole and blown to smithereens in his golden coach in the year of our Lord 1950. 1950? Somehow I don't think you were expecting that now, were you? Still, you can't have historical accuracy and a giant mutant mustard mole, can you? A Village Fete Worse Than Death was written by Darren Gooding and performed by Damien Bell, Mary Bolin, Sarah Jane Derrick, Darren Gooding, Dave Hughes, Jerry McKee, Richard Potter and Sarah Ellen Young. Music, sound engineering and recording was by Darren Tansley. Original title theme by Tina Gooding. Foley sound effects were performed by Matthew Orchard. The podcast was recorded at Colchester Arts Centre and is an I Hear Voices Theatre Company production.